Just trying on some new watches with the Formex app. This has got to be one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Using on camera is not easy, but it's kind of like an augmented reality, so you can see how the watch will look on your wrist before you buy. This video will be about Formex watches and checking them out. Let's see, so you can change the, I could try to change the dial on camera. Let's see, let's say I want a blue dial, there we go, or a white dial. Pretty nifty. You can also change the strap, do a bunch of other options, but what is going on here? That's it. The slap bracelet that you can get from them, and then an app on your phone that reads the bracelet and then maps the watch onto it. So enough of that, let's get into the actual watches. So you guys know I typically only review watches that I sell. Today's going to be a little bit different. Today I'm checking out Formex watches. Why? I don't sell them yet. Well, I want to get kind of like a public opinion, see what my viewers think about them, and based on response, I'll see if I bring them in. I think they're really cool. They offer a lot of engineering that really needs to be seen and demonstrated that doesn't really come across on the web. Now, speaking of the web, I showed you that really cool app, and that's just another way that the brand is trying to, if you will, brand itself to make it easier for the internet shopper to purchase. So what I showed you in the beginning there was simply a slap bracelet, and your phone's camera maps the watch to your wrist. It's really cool. Is it 100%? No, but it's much better than nothing, and they are currently revamping it to make it even better. I want to show you, really I just want to show you one watch today, the Essence on my left hand, but I'll briefly show you the Element in my right and show you some of the engineering and stuff that goes along into them. A 2-minute commercial on Formex. Formex is a brand that I am certainly familiar with. They've been around, I want to say, since the mid-90s. A few years ago, the brand was kind of reimagined or re-engineered. There's a guy at the helm. His name is Raphael. I've met him. I met him in Basel. Very intelligent person. Does some amazing stuff with the watches that we will discuss. And the brand is basically, true to my heart, looking to be a brand that's pretty much sold on the internet. So that is kind of why I'm here today. So let's go over, we'll go over the Essence, and then I'll touch on the Element at the end. This is the Formex Essence, this is the chronometer grade. There's two versions. There's a chronometer grade and a non-chronometer grade. Now, for those of you in the know, chronometer grade simply means it carries a COSC certificate saying that it's been certified more or less to +6, -4 seconds a day in various positions and various temperatures. It was in a watch and learn. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Yes, I'm talking to you. So the chronometer version runs on a Sellita SW200 chronometer grade movement with glucidier balance. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is a sight to behold. Look at the movement. Look at the finishing. Look at the blued screws. The perlage, everything. It's just done extremely well. Full stainless steel, of course. I'm just reading over here. It's 100 meters water resistance. I'll get into all that, all the good stuff in a minute. Sapphire front and back. I just kind of wanted to show you the movement because it is really a thing of beauty. The non-chronometer version, which is pretty much the same watch, just lacks the chronometer badging on the dial and lacks a COSC certificate in the box, runs on an ETA 2824 Elaborate grade. Price differential is around, I want to say like $400, and the chronometer grade watch is around $1150, and the non-chronometer is around $800. And I say the price in passing, but the price is important because for me, this is almost like an upsell to my customer. So I want to show you what you can get for the money. Let's get into the watch briefly. So it's 43 millimeters in diameter. Got it? Very interesting case, right? Really cool. novel, unlike anything I've ever seen for sure. 10.5 thin, pretty thin, right? Okay. 50 on the tip to tip, and it is a 22 millimeter lug. 100 meters water resistance, front and back sapphire. Let's get into some of the finer points of the watch. The first thing I showed you, I went like that. The watch actually has a built-in case suspension system. So the portion of the watch with the movement, the hands, the dial, everything is free floating. Look at the crown. It's free floating in this case. What does that get you? Well, in my eyes, I think it gets you two important things. Number one, from a really non-engineering perspective, I gotta look at it that way first. When you try it on, and I'll do it later, if you bend your wrist and it's a little bit too tight, instead of it pushing against you and hurting you, the case will simply move a little bit. Gives you a little bit of flexion. It's almost like a built-in, you know, quarter inch or so in the wristband, if you will. A little more comfortable. From an engineering perspective, what I see it as being an isolation system or a low-pass filter, whereas low-frequency vibrations are passed to the watch. Anything above cutoff frequency is not. Riding a motorcycle, jackhammering, any other, you know, vibration inducing environment, the watch, the movement, the sensitive part are totally isolated. 100%. Nothing is going to pass to this because it is almost like a mass damper system. Let's show you the strap. Has quick release on it. You've seen quick release before, right? You pull that little pin back and the strap comes off. But on the bracelet for the watch, beautiful bracelet by the way, quick release on the bracelet. Do you see that often? It's going to be very difficult for me to do with my gloves on, of course, but see that? Check that out. You can literally change the bracelet in probably 10 seconds from the strap to the bracelet to the strap. Both sides have the same attachment system. And then I want to show you the clasp. So the deploy and clasp, get this out of the way for focusing purposes. So the deploy and clasp is, don't say plastic, think high performance composite, extremely light, extremely. Almost a normal prong and buckle, but the release is built into the buckle, okay? Oh, it's a butterfly, okay? And then check this out. So bracelets are always the ones that get, you know, micro adjustment. Well, now your strap can have micro adjustment. So this little plunger here. So you're going to push this plunger down, and see that? See how it slides? So I can let go. It locks here. Push it down. Locks here. So you get, I don't know how many positions are in there, 3 or 4 or 5 different micro adjustment positions on the leather strap. So that combined with the case suspension make the watch extremely comfortable to wear. Let's see. So standard Solita or, you know, Swiss automatic. Pull out the crown. It hacks, seconds, hand stops. You can change the time. Of course, it hand winds. You have a date feature at the 6 o'clock position. And I probably should have said this in the beginning, but Formex is a Swiss company. The watches are Swiss made. Let's just briefly switch over to the Element. I mean, this watch I really like. This is big and honking. I actually didn't even measure it. There, I just measured it. It's 46 in diameter, 54 on the tip to tip. But I want to show you here, and not in as much as I don't like the watch. I don't think it's very pretty looking. It's massive. It probably has a certain appeal. It's not my appeal. But just look at what's going on here. Look at the case finishing. Look at the use of ceramic on the bezel, the hardware, the buttons, and of course case suspension again for comfort. And you can see the plungers, a little bit of an open architecture, so you can see actually what's going on in this instance. Same thing on the buckle. Pricing is a little more on these. I want to say north of 1,500 because it's running on a Valjoux 7750 and it is a Swiss-made watch. So while it may sound pricey for a 7750 driven watch, it's actually not. It's not wound. There it goes. So it's a start, it's a stop, it's a reset, running seconds over here on the left, elapsed minutes in a 30-minute counter on the top, and a 12-hour elapsed counter on the bottom. So this is the Element. Now let me try, like I said, I want to try the Essence on. I did show you the app in the beginning, and again, I posted this on Instagram the other day, showing you, kind of like similar shots of the Essence on my wrist virtually and the Essence on my wrist in reality. The app does a really good job of determining, for you, if it's something you're going to enjoy. You can take snapshots, save them to your library, whatever. You could try on 20 watches, in different straps, dials. It's actually unlimited, all from the comfort of your smartphone. So bravo to them for figuring out what today's buyer is going to require. And that rhymed. So here is that Formex Essence 43mm on my 6 3/4" wrist. Guys, the watch is amazingly comfortable, light, and just very, like I said, very sleek. But watch what happens if I actually put it on purposely a little bit too tight. So as I bend my wrist, do you see the case popping out? I don't feel any pressure down here, nothing pushing against my wrist bone, and I know here it is above the bone. Now I can't really do that because it's above my wrist bone, but it just makes the watch so much more comfortable, and the proportions, the way the case is shaped, the thickness of it, really nice. So this comes in a, like you can see the rich brown dial, comes in a few other different dial executions. Really, really a sweet watch. Let's finish it up with a lume shot, and then we'll be done. So there you go. It is a dress watch, so the lume is obviously very readable, and you have a nice registration point at 12 o'clock with the double lines, but when you look at it in daylight, you almost can't perceive that there is lume because the lines are so thin. But obviously the use of, I'm assuming Swiss Superluminova, since it's a Swiss watch, really makes the watch easy to read at nighttime. So that'll wrap it up. This has been Mark from LongIslandWatch.com showing you the Formex lineup. Please, guys, let me know your opinion down below. I really need opinions to see if I'm going to take on the line or not. And Formex actually would love to read all of your opinions as well. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. Follow me on Instagram. Posted this a few days ago on Instagram, so you wouldn't be surprised if you see this video. I already told you to put your comments down below, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.